Hi, I'm Mark Little, and I've made a commitment to do videos for professional financial advisors on how to succeed as a full time professional retail financial advisor. That's a financial advisor who serves families and individuals coordinating their financial affairs. Uh, I committed to doing videos on every aspect of the business because I love financial advisors. More on that in a minute. And I noticed online, especially on YouTube, there is a vacuum out there. Does content exist? Yes, it does. But does content exist by people talking who have actually implemented such a financial advisory practice? No, it's almost unheard of that the people who are teaching how to serve affluent clients, how to put together a financial services business serving individuals and families. It's almost never that the videos are being conducted by someone who's actually been in the trenches, built such a business, and succeeded. And I'm not saying succeeded like barely eked it out. I'm talking about succeeded at a very high level. So I thought, well, uh, I love financial advisors, so I guess it falls to me. And let me kind of talk about that for a minute. Why do I love financial advisors? Well, I think it goes back to my business coach. So I was in the business for a dozen years. I had already reached success if you count earning money as success. I had been in the business a dozen years. Uh, my story is all over the place. I've told my own story a dozen times, so I won't spend a lot of time here describing my situation, except to say I would have been the person you met that is least likely to succeed had you met me in my 20s when I was working for a Wall Street based firm. I'm an introvert, I have call reluctance. I would be the least likely person that you would select to, succeed as a financial advisor, given the fact that for most financial advisors, it's not really about managing money. It's not really about wealth management. It's not really about comprehensive financial services. It's not really about the actual what we do for clients. There's lots out there for delivering the actual service and how to do that. No, the difference is that a financial advisor that succeeds in our business knows how to get clients and consistently exceed their expectations. See, that's what I did not realize when I was in my 20s. I didn't realize, that they're going to hire me at this big nationwide firm. They're going to put this label, money management, wealth management, investment management, on my forehead. And they wanted me to get out there to do what? Investment, money management, wealth management? No, they wanted me to go find clients. So it ends up being a whole different business for most financial advisors. It's way more about, do you know how to find clients? Once you find clients, do you know what to say and how to say it so that you can determine whether what you are providing in terms of the services that you offer are in perfect alignment with the affluent individual or family that you've stumbled across? So, do you know what to say? Do you know how to say it? And can you, in essence, um, if you are delivering services that are a perfect fit for what an affluent family has been looking for, do you have the skills to move the relationship across the finish line? Can you tell the truth in a way that the client gets it and says, "Oh, I get it. You're exactly what I've been looking for all these years." Yes, I am. Okay. Well, that's the skill. And then once you have a client, the final skill is, can you consistently exceed their expectations? Because anybody can make big promises to affluent clients, but the one thing that's true about successful affluent clients is the more successful they are and the more affluent they are, the less tolerant they are and the less patient they are for posers, like financial advisors that talk a big game, but after the client jumps in their canoe and starts paddling with them, they recognize right away when somebody's faking it. So it's really three things that you need to master. It's lead generation. I call that client acquisition. How skilled are you at getting people to the table who approach you because they want to explore whether it'd be a good fit to work with you or not? So it's how skilled are you at getting filling your calendar basically with people where in meetings who are all about figuring out whether or not this would be a good fit to work together. So, the metric there is how many people have you sat down with in the last 7 days who have the ability to say yes or no? Okay. So that's lead generation, what I call client acquisition. Then there's client conversion. That's what I'm talking about. Once you're actually sitting in front of someone who presumably is seeking exactly what you do really well, do you have the skills to make the case that in a concise, coherent, compelling way that we are exactly what you're looking for, and I'd like to invite you to join our ideal client community. And are you in a skilled way able to move people across the finish line and acquire clients? And then the third is what I call client service. It's how good are you at identifying what each and every client expects, and how good are you at actually consistently exceeding that? Because if you acquire a new affluent client or family and you're able to keep the client happy for a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, the question is, year after year after year after year after year, are you able to consistently exceed their expectations? Not just dazzle them in the onboarding process, and not just initially get their financial house in good order, but literally, are you course correcting, keeping them back on track? Are you skilled at being able to hold their hand, in the bad times when the markets are cratering and they're most vulnerable and worried whether they're going to make it or not? Are you skilled at consistently exceeding your clients' expectations so that they not only will never fire you, they are actually, it's the other way around. They're worried that something might happen to you because they've got all their eggs in your basket, and they are really concerned to make sure that this fragile relationship that's really holding everything together for them financially, that it's going to last forever. Well, it's a mindset issue. So I love financial advisors. Why? Because I became successful on my own. It took a dozen years, but I went from being the worst performing financial advisor at my firm to the number one top producer. And when I got that to that level, I was never toppled. I was always the number one producer at my firm. The number two producer was frankly quite a bit farther away, like not even close. And so on my year to date performance, I was the number one top producer for years and years and years and years and years, until the broker dealer, which was a nationwide firm, but they ultimately got absorbed into the mother of all broker dealers who just acquired them. At that point, I didn't need a firm. I was only staying with the broker dealer firm because I felt obligated. They helped me and kept me on board when I was starving, and they should have fired me, but they stuck with me and I stuck with them until the bitter end. And then when they got absorbed into the Borg, I didn't make the trip. I just set up my own registered investment advisory and continued on independently. So I was successful. And then I met a business coach that changed everything. So in those three buckets of skills, lead generation, lead conversion, I did not have a good client conversion process. And that's where I brought in a business coach that rocked my world. If you're in the financial services industry, you will have heard the name Bill Bachrach. So Bill Bachrach became my coach in 1999. And it wasn't just Bill, it was a team effort. Bill Bachrach and Bachrach. Talk about a power couple. Bill was the one that challenged every assumption I ever had about the business and got me thinking, like, not just a little different about the business, but 180 degrees different about the business. And that rocked my business and my world. And then his wife, Ann Bachrach, she on her own steam is just like the most powerful coach out there. And she is an accountability coach. And so I worked with Bill to construct my client service model to consistently exceed client expectations. And then Ann was my accountability coach separately to make sure that I was on track to what I said I wanted to achieve as my goals. So with those two, I would say power coaches in place, everything changed for me. Now they are working with a lot of other financial advisors. And even though I was the number one top producer at my firm, I didn't go to a lot of conferences. I didn't know a lot of other top performing financial advisors like me. But in working with Bill Bachrach and Ann Bachrach, I started meeting other financial advisors who were at a similar level to me. Well, let's call them world-class financial advisors. I met people in our industry that I look at them and how they operate and how they think about their clients. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a piker compared to them, and that's exactly what I needed. I needed to be in an environment where everyone to the left and right of me was smarter than me and better than me. And that's exactly what I did. And I got to know the industry really, really well by working with my business coaches because they introduced me to others in our industry. And what did I learn about our industry? By rubbing elbows with people at the top of our profession. It's that their heart's in the right place. They didn't get into this business to become multimillionaires or to just, make money, money, money. The reputation of our industry is far different than the reality. The reality is that most people get in this business to help clients get on track to their own objectives, to achieve their own goals, their financial goals, and they want to make a difference in their clients' lives. I would say those three things were a very common thread that I found going through financial advisors. And what can you say to that? Except I love that. I love our industry. And I'll tell you, having been doing what I'm doing now with other financial advisors since 2002, when I started actually coaching and working with other advisors, it's true throughout the levels of success. People that are, let's call it, on the way to success. They're not yet successful, but they're working on it, okay? Their heart's in the right place. Let's talk about people that are moderately successful. Their heart's in the right place. What about people coming from different channels in our industry? So I came up through the Wall Street, the investment channel, but I've come to know people who come up through the financial planning channel, like certified financial planners, people that came up through the tax channel, they're certified public accountants, or in estate planning channel. So I've gotten to know people that are lawyers, estate planning attorneys. And so it doesn't matter what channel you're out, bank channel, insurance channel, it's like we have all these channels. And when you get us all together, I'm not saying every advisor, I'm saying most. Their heart's in the right place. They want to see their clients achieve their goals and they want to make a difference in their lives. And so, what's not to love? So, even though I will tell you that this series that I'm doing, the Mindset series, which is all about how you view what you do and what you place as a priority, so that you can do the only one single thing that really matters in our business. And that is to quit thinking about it, quit talking about it. It's action. Like, when are you going to get to the point in your career that when you come into the office, all you do every day is the job that it turns out is what we do? It's filling your calendar with clients who want to do business with you, actually being skilled at making the case that you are the best option for them, and they fire their advisor on the spot and hire you. So that's a skill. And then once they're clients, you consistently exceed their expectations. Well, I'm telling you that that right there, learning how to do those three things is not the most important thing. What I'm saying is the mindset around that is what matters. So, what made me different? Well, I'll give you one little example that really means nothing, but it tells you what this mindset series is all about. So I worked for a Wall Street based firm, and they kind of thought they had the corner locked on how to invest clients' money, because I kept asking when I was in my 20s, when are you going to teach me how to manage wealth? And they said, oh, don't worry about that. When you get a client, just send them to New York. We'll figure out what's suitable, and we will manage their investment portfolio in a way that will be suitable for them. And okay, fine. Well, that's Wall Street talk for, charging clients fees. You get it. It's all about revenue and client acquisition. So, and hey, Sonny, we've got it from there. Just let the big boys take over the wealth management side of it. So, I realized that that's the name of the game. And if I wanted to stay in this business and keep my job, even after I left the Wall Street based firm and I began delivering wealth management services, so I could now all of a sudden do whatever I wanted in terms of delivering at a high level, like raising the standards. But it's not how to do all that. The how to do all of the things that I talked to you about in this video is secondary. It's what are you doing each and every day to fill your calendar with people that want to talk and bring them across the finish line. And then once you've got a community of clients, that you are consistently knocking their socks off. That's what it's all about. And so in my little pea brain back when I was in my 20s, I finally caught on that that's what the business really is, that as an entrepreneur, it's more about finding clients and keeping them happy than it is about whatever it is that you do in your business. And so I started to gain a little bit different mindset. So for me, now I'm not actually recommending this for you, although I want you to hear what I'm saying because I think there's a lesson in there. Very quickly, and I think it's because of my scarcity mentality in the early days of my career, when I was being dragged into my branch manager's office almost every week to be fired for lack of production. And so because I was so afraid of losing my career, and I was so committed to this job and serving clients, that I think it permanently marked me. You could lose this job, and as a result, in the early days, I had a mentality which said, I need to make money every week. That I need to acquire a client, or in some way, I need to generate new revenue, not existing recurring revenue from clients that I've already acquired. No, new revenue. Every single week, I need to be generating revenue. And if ever a week goes by that I didn't generate revenue, well, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to beat myself up for not doing it, but I'm going to feel horrible. And I'm going to look at that week as though, what did I do wrong? Like, what could I have done differently to bring revenue in as opposed to not bring revenue in? Do you see how it's a mindset issue? So I didn't kill myself if I didn't generate revenue, but I ramped up my activity, and I sat there and brainstormed what actions did I not take that I could have done a little more, and I would have had revenue last week. It's a mindset issue. It's unacceptable to ever have a week in this business where I don't generate new revenue. Now, is that true? No, it's not true. And as a matter of fact, I mean, come to find out, 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your clients, or at least that's true for me. And so, you bring in revenue, and then you bring in a year's revenue with one client. Okay, so I finally figured out the real math. However, it did not change my mindset. It all had to do with, I'm not taking enough action if I have a week with no revenue. And so that's what I'm explaining to you is this mindset series really is the key. So, hey, look, if you're a young advisor and new to the industry and you're thinking, oh, Mark, I'd love to be a top producer, but I'm just, I still am kind of working out what should I even be doing to deliver services? Maybe you're a broker for one of the major wirehouses. Maybe you're a newly minted CFP right out of one of these. It's great that these universities are cranking out CFPs now. So we've got a lot of younger people that are wanting to be effective at what we do and they want to be successful. So there is so much crappy training in our industry. It's all about sales ideas and sales strategies and sales tactics and appointment closing techniques and yada, yada, yada. Everything I rejected in my early days, there's very little available on the internet from an advisor who's actually done it to say you don't have to do any of that, that there is another way. And I don't care if you're trying to figure out how to generate leads. I don't care if you're trying to figure out how to make the case that you're a perfect fit for someone that's been looking for someone like you. I don't care if you've got clients and all you're trying to do is not get fired. So, I talk about exceeding their expectations. You could be at any stage of your career. And as my business coach, Bill Backrack, is fond of saying, we're all running our own race. You're running your race. I'm running my race. We're each running our own race. And so you got to pace yourself according to where you are in your race. You're not competing against me. You're not competing against other financial advisors. You need to compare where you are now against where you want to be. And my only objective in cranking out these videos is to give my thoughts to you, to let you know there's a better way, there's a different way, or there's at least a more comprehensive way. And also to be the voice of balance, to say, no, it's not all about sales tactics and sales techniques. And, that is a load of crap. That is not true. You can acquire clients just by going out and catching up with your friends in volume, like just meeting with people to develop personal relationships. That's how I did it. So I'm the voice of balance. And I just want you to think about the fact that these mindset videos are really the only ones that matter. I mean, there's plenty out there on how to do what we do, but when you've made up your mind to stop getting ready to get ready to think about maybe getting busy and to succeed, well, then come back to this mindset series. And I am no Bill Backrack, I will tell you that. And I will also say the problem with people like me is there are not enough people like us, meaning Bill Backrack, John Bowen. I only know a handful of people who are out there available to you to get advice and coaching on how to structure a high-end financial advisory business. I mean, I think you can count on one hand worldwide the number of people who've actually done it, who are the ones that are providing the training. So if Bill's still accepting clients and Ann is still accepting clients and you can get in and work with either one or both of them, you should do that, because that's what I did. And I'm telling you, successful people have coaches. They will get you to look at the world differently. And you may have to turn everything upside down from what you thought it was supposed to be. But in the end, you'll be effective and successful. Okay. So I'm just saying that I don't communicate things as well as Bill. If you want to hear what I'm talking about in terms of mindset, and you want to hear it in a really polished, articulate way that only a world-class speaker can articulate it, you're talking about Bill Backrack. Bill Backrack is the guy that can take these thoughts that are just pop into my head as far as advice for you, and he can polish them up and make them a lot more coherent and a lot more compelling, because he is, in addition to being a former financial advisor himself, he's a world-class speaker. And I'm not. But I will tell you this, I will promise I always speak from the heart. Occasionally you might listen to my mindset videos and think, get to the point. Aren't you talking in circles? Well, maybe so, but I'm always getting to a point. And I will promise you this, my objective in these mindset videos is to make sure that there is never a video that you don't walk away with some little twinge of an idea of what you need to do, not if you're in training mode where you want to watch YouTube videos until you understand everything intellectually. No, you're past the intellectual stage. I'm past the point of getting ready to get successful. I'm ready to do the actions required to launch my business to the next level. And that's what these mindset videos are about. So, I look forward to producing these. I will come out with one whenever something crosses my mind that I think will be helpful for you. But if you're at a different stage of your career and you think, no, Mark, I know what you're saying. I know it's all about mindset. I need to just decide, that I'm going to do whatever it takes to be successful and to make money every month or whatever your goal is. Well, that's fine, but I'm not there yet. If you're the one that needs to kind of see how everything works, and then you can have the confidence to feel like, okay, now I'm ready. Well, that's also why I'm cranking out all these videos. I'm going to make it my goal for lead generation, lead conversion, and client service that there is ample content that I'm creating that would give you enough information not to know necessarily every little specific thing to do, but to at least have faith that there is a system that works, that when you decide to just start taking action, you don't have to know every little piece and sequence in the puzzle. No, you have faith that it works though. And that's what gives you the idea that I can do this and I will move forward and I will do whatever it takes. So that's all I got for the introduction. And I wish you every future success because I love financial advisors.